but I really need to pass on this one. You know, you're allowed to disappoint people because you know what? The alternative is always disappointing yourself.
Hey there, I'm Drew Chaz, and you're listening to Overthinking Outthink, the podcast where analytical minds become business assets. If you're an introvert who loves thinking deeply, but sometimes struggles to turn those thoughts into action, you're definitely in the right place. Each week, I bring you practical step-by-step guidance designed specifically for how your brain naturally works. Just clear strategies that respect your thoughtful approach while helping you achieve real business results. So let's turn that careful thinking into your competitive advantage. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Overthinking the Outthink. And today we're diving into a topic that makes introverts squirm, including myself, and that's boundaries. Not because we don't need boundaries, because bottom line is we hate disappointing people. I don't know about all you guys, but I'm pretty much a people pleaser, trying to do better, but I just hate when people are disappointed. And I'm sure you do too. Have you ever been in a situation where you said yes, but in your mind you're thinking absolutely not? Then this episode is your permission to just stop doing that. So by the end of this episode, you'll know how to set boundaries without guilt or over-explaining. You'll learn how to use scripts that feel just natural for introverts. You're going to learn how to avoid burnout by protecting your energy. And you're going to learn how to say no while still be kind and respectful. Now, why is this just so hard for us? But, you know, the real reason boundaries are so hard is because it's like feels like conflict. As an introvert, conflict is often your least favorite room to walk into, right? But here's what no one tells you. Boundaries aren't about other people. They're really about you, protecting your energy, your clarity, and your sense of self. You're not setting a line to punish any people. You're setting a line to preserve your peace so you can keep showing up as the version that actually has something to give. But this is still really difficult, right? One reason it's so hard is because we're used to reading the room and adjusting to keep others comfortable. And you often internalize guilt when someone reacts emotionally, even if you did nothing wrong. And why is that? Because you fear coming off as rude or just too much. One thing I know is through my life, I've never been too much. Well, but maybe back in my 20s, but as an introvert, I don't want to piss anybody off. I want everybody to be happy. I want things to go smoothly. I want just clarity in my ideas and for people just to get along, right? But you know what? The lack of boundaries will make you resentful, exhausted, and worse off, invisible. So what happens when you don't set boundaries? Well, let's break it down into real life examples. Do you always say yes to last minute requests at work? Well, I bet you do, but you know what it costs you? Well, for one, you get behind on your own projects. And then for two, you build a reputation as someone who could get overloaded without complaining. And then what happens? You start resenting your team, even if they never asked or had bad intentions. So another example would be avoid telling your friends no when they ask for your help. What happens then? You end up spending your weekend doing things that drain you. And then you don't feel in control of your time. And then you quietly withdraw instead of building a better connection with them. When you say yes to something you don't want to do, you're actually saying no to things that you want, like focus and rest, how to conserve energy and clarity. So once you let that sink in, I'll tell you what, one thing I let everybody know these days is Fridays are my recoup days. That's where I re-energize. I just got to be alone. I just want to chill from a long week at work because I have a very stressful position right now in my 9 to 5. And really, I just need a day for myself. I need to just withdraw, re-energize, and then I'm ready to go on Saturday. Well, here are 4 truths that will reframe how you think about boundaries. Number one is boundaries don't push people away. They clarify your capacity. When you clearly communicate your limits, you're giving others a better chance to actually respect you. People can't respect what they don't understand. So maybe you should say this instead of ghosting. I'd love to help, but I don't have the capacity for that right now. Number two is no is a full sentence. You don't need to perform a monologue afterwards either. Over-explaining is a survival habit for introverts because you want to soften the blow, right? You don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but often the more we explain, the more room we leave for others to push back. So why even explain it? Just say the thing, then stop talking. That awkward silence is not a bad thing. And number three is that you can be kind and firm at the same time. Saying no with empathy is one of your superpowers. So use language that's warm, but extremely clear. You can say something like, I really appreciate you thinking about me or having the confidence in me, but I really need to pass on this one. You know, you're allowed to disappoint people because you know what? The alternative is always disappointing yourself. And number four, boundaries, they're not rigid. They're intentional. You're not building walls, you're building filters so that you can keep your peace and energy aligned with what actually matters. And a boundary isn't selfish anyway. It's actually self-respecting. So let's break this down to action. Identify one area that you're overextending. Where are you saying yes out of guilt or fear or just habit? Write that down and get it clear. Step two is to script your boundary in advance. Don't wing it. Write it out. Rehearse it in your head if you have to. Even text it if that's even easier. I mean, an example is you can just say, I want to be honest. I don't have the capacity right now. But thanks for understanding. You're still being kind. But in the long run, you're going to be better for it. And step three, choose one moment this week to use it. Don't wait for the perfect boundary opportunity. Practice on something small, like turning down a last-minute favor or saying, not this week, instead of, I'll try. Or how about this? Protecting a weekend with no plans. When was the last time you had one of those? You're actually rewiring how you show up. And that starts with maybe a moment of discomfort, but it leads to long-term peace. So just to recap, you don't need to be louder. You don't need to be rude either, but you need to be clear. So for this week's challenge, just pick one area of your life where your boundaries are blurry. Write your responses and use it once and let it stand. Then celebrate your peace with the win that it is. So if this episode gave you the language that you needed, share it with someone else who's quietly burning out and saying yes too much. So you made it to the end. I would really appreciate it if you really got something out of this to go leave a review for me. Just go to Apple Podcast and leave a review. Remember, your analytical mind is not what's holding you back. It's your greatest strength when you know how to use it. So until next time, keep thinking deeply and moving forward. And most of all, you be you.
This is Drew Chaz, and you've been listening to Overthinking to Outthink. If this episode resonated with you, share it with another deep thinker in your life. And don't forget to subscribe for more strategies on turning your internal dialogue into external success. Until next time, keep thinking deeply and keep acting strategically. And most of all, you be you.